Hey there, artists. Today we are going to be making another type of dinosaur, but this one is going to be made out of cardboard. It's going to be a sculpture. We're going to have to draw lots of individual parts for this dinosaur and then cut them out and put them together. But what's cool about this sculpture is you can use any type of cardboard that you find lying around your house. You can see that I used a box that one of my books has shipped in. And then you don't need any tape or glue to put it together. It will actually stand up on its own. Plus, you can make any type of dinosaur that you want. I'm just going to show you how to make one type, but you could make lots of different types of dinosaurs. In fact, any of the ones that we drew, you could probably figure out how to make with this exact same technique. Okay, so all that you're going to need for this project is a piece of cardboard, a pencil, and a pair of scissors. Like I said, no glue or tape necessary for this project, and it doesn't even have to be good cardboard. You can see this piece right here is kind of ripped. Cardboard that comes from an empty cereal box. Don't use a cereal box that's full. An empty cereal box will work great if you have any packages that were shipped to your home. That cardboard will work as well. Sometimes the thicker cardboard is hard to cut with scissors, although I will show you a couple tricks for how to cut cardboard even when it's a little bit difficult, okay? So the very first thing that we need to do is we're going to be drawing the dinosaur's body, then two legs, and then a couple of the scales or spikes that are on the dinosaur's back, okay? So at the top of my piece of cardboard, I'm gonna try to fit this all into one piece of cardboard, but I've got a couple extra scrap pieces over here if I need them. So at the top left, right over here, where my pencil is pointing, this is gonna be the tip of the tail. So I want you to go down a curve, and then down another curve. Okay, that kind of looks like a horn to me, or half of a U, half of a bowl. Then I'm gonna go up for the back, like a little hill. And I'm basically gonna do the opposite for the belly underneath. I'm gonna go like that for the belly. Okay, if you want it to go a little bit further over, you can, but we are gonna be doing a long neck curving back up for the head. So see how I went here, and I curved up and over for the head. Now if you want to give a little bit of mouth, you can, and then another little curve for the chin. It's kind of cute. Add an eye. You can even add a nose if you want. We're going to be drawing this on both sides so that the dinosaur looks like a dinosaur on both sides. However, if there's a design or color already on one side of your dinosaur, that's not a problem. It actually looks kind of cool. So don't worry if your cardboard is only brown or white or plain on one side, because it just adds a little bit of interest to it. Now I need you to connect the neck to the body, okay? I did a little bit of a crease there, and I don't think you really need that. We are all done with that. Might as well go ahead and draw what we're gonna need for the legs before we start cutting. Okay, that way we don't accidentally waste cardboard that we need. This is basically just gonna be a rainbow. A double rainbow right there, okay? I need you to make these the same size. If you don't make them the same size, it's okay, but it probably will have a little bit of a hard time standing up. If the rainbows are the same size, then it should be just fine. So I need you to do a smaller rainbow on the inside and connect them. Same thing over here. Now we have two identical legs. Go ahead and add some toes. You can add some spots if you want. Before I forget, let's add a little bit of a line. This is gonna be our cut line. Do not let that go all the way down. We do not wanna cut these in half. We need this to stay together. Otherwise you will need tape and glue. Okay, so just have it go from the top rainbow about halfway down. And here's where you're going to actually be attaching them. You're gonna cut two little slits here and here on the dinosaur's belly. And we're gonna be fitting those together. Now I have this area right here where I am going to draw some spikes. Let's see how many I can fit. I'm gonna do a couple small ones. And then I'm gonna do a couple medium ones. Oops. See, I'm just fitting them into the extra space because I'm going to be cutting them out. So it doesn't matter if they're sideways. It doesn't matter if I'm squeezing them in here, here, wherever I want. I'm gonna do a couple big ones. And then I make a little slit mark from the bottom corner right to the middle, okay? This is where I'm gonna be cutting as well because they need to go onto the back of my dinosaur, just like this. Cool, that leg fell off. All right, when I start cutting, one of my tricks is I like to cut just the part that I need to cut more detailed. I like to separate that from the big piece of cardboard because it's hard for me to get my scissors and my hands all up in here if everything is attached. So if I cut it smaller like this, then I can go back through and I can cut much more easily. Notice that I'm just opening and closing the scissors, cutting in small cut strokes, and then I'm turning the cardboard. Sometimes that's easier than moving my hand all the way around. Okay, so I've got this one cut out. Cool, I'm gonna start throwing away these scraps. When I cut this, be sure not to go all the way through. I'm gonna stop halfway, set that aside. Do the same thing over here. Take your time cutting. Okay, I'm trying to hurry so that I save us time on the video, but you can take your time. The more careful you are, the more likely it is you won't accidentally cut something in half that you're supposed to leave intact. So I'm cutting out my double rainbow. I've already designed one side, but if the back of yours is blank, you can design the other side as well. Okay, I'm gonna separate this whole collection of scales. Keep that separate. And I'm gonna start cutting out the body. Now here's my second trick with cutting. Sometimes when I'm cutting, I don't cut out the entire background. I cut out little sections at a time. So if I cut all the way down this dinosaur's long neck, it's hard for me to turn my scissors and go back up the back of his body. So instead, what I'm gonna do is cut off the piece that I already cut. Do you see how that happened? I'm gonna show you again. I'm gonna cut all the way down the curve of his long back, but my scissors are starting to get stuck. So I'm gonna go from this side and cut off the part that I already cut. Okay, I'm gonna do that one more time. And you'll notice that I'm not afraid to keep turning my cardboard. My scissors pretty much stay still, open and close, as I go around my dinosaur, and I'll have a different entry point over here. When I get to his face and his mouth, I just see which side is easiest to cut from, and I cut off little bits at a time until I have myself a dinosaur. Now, like with the legs, if you want to flip her over, and draw the eyes and the mouth and maybe some spots back here, you certainly can. Okay, now would be a good time to do that. We also need to cut the two little slits right here. Okay, set that aside. Get rid of your scraps. Trying to keep a clean work area. And it's time for me to cut out the spines. Now I have a couple that I've already cut out, so I'm just gonna demo, excuse me, how to cut a few of these. Okay, so you cut out the diamond and give yourself that little slit, okay? I would cut out the rest of these, but I already have some from the example that I showed you, so I'm gonna borrow those, and we're gonna start putting together our dinosaur. So first things first, let's get them to stand up. I'm gonna take this slit, and I am going to fit them together. You might have to sort of wiggle them a little bit so that they slide into each other like that and fit like a glove. You actually wanna slide it up until you feel them lock into place. Okay, do the same thing, wiggle. Oops, I almost tore that in half. Whew. Remember, this is cardboard and it will tear just like paper. So I'm gonna carefully scoot that up. Ooh, I like this even better than my example. Look how cool that looks. It's already three-dimensional, and he will stand up like that. So I know you can't really see because he's standing up, but with these spikes, I'm gonna go from smallest to near the tail to largest in the middle. And then I'll go small again until we get to his neck. Pretty cool, if you ask me. Look at that. Now, if you wanted to, if you have crayons, colored pencils, or markers, let's see if I can show you. You could certainly color your dinosaur in, give them designs or patterns. I bet you could figure out how to make a T-Rex, Brontosaurus, Stegosaurus, Triceratops. I bet based on the drawings that we made in the other video, you could come up with a lot of different types of dinosaur sculptures just following these steps, doing a body and 2 legs, and then whatever you want to attach to the back or the head of, or the tail of the dinosaur. So I'm excited to see what you come up with based on how much cardboard you have. And hopefully this was something a little bit different than our normal drawings and something that you had fun doing. Thanks for joining me.